All right. Well, welcome everyone. It's nice to see you all here at our first ERA Live of 2024. I hope you're all doing well. Before we get started, just a few housekeeping notes. I would like to remind everyone to please mute your devices. We will be allowing time for Q&A. So if you would like to ask a question, please utilize either the chat box or the raise hand function. We'll call on you and you do have the ability to unmute yourself. Also, we are recording this session and we will be posting the recording on the ERA website within 48 hours. Today's session will focus on an overview of ERA SearchLink.ai tool and how best to customize it for your company's needs. And we're excited to share information on a new tool within SearchLink, ERA GPT. Walter Tobin, ERA CEO, will introduce today's special guest speaker. And with that, Walter, I'll turn it over to you.
Thanks, Erin. Well, we are once again delighted to have Sam Richter on our ERA Live session. Sam is a Hall of Fame speaker. He has spoken at several of our past ERA conferences, both in general sessions and breakout sessions, been very visible with our chapters, helping run sessions on AI with the chapters. He is certainly a recognized expert on everything that's artificial intelligence and frankly, what AI means to our industry and to each of our member companies. I describe him as our Nostradamus and our true North Star in helping guide us into all things AI. So we certainly came to listen to him and not me. So without further ado, Mr. Sam Richter.
Hey, well, thank you so much, everybody. It's wonderful to see all of you again, virtually at least a few of you who have your cameras on, and hopefully we'll get to see the rest of you over the course of the next hour or so. I'm going to share my screen because, as Walter said, you didn't come here to hear me. You came here to see the SearchLink.ai. Now, one of my big problems is I've got so many tabs open. So hopefully you are seeing, are you seeing the ERA website right now? Excellent.
Yes.
Okay, great. So I don't have the ability to see the chat questions, so I know that feel free to put them in there. We'll answer them. If there's something that comes up right away, please feel free to read it to me. Otherwise, we'll hold it off to the end. So I'm going to really quickly walk through the demo of SearchLink.ai. Many of you have seen this before, and I'll spend some special time on a couple of the new features I've added. So SearchLink.ai for ERA is available only to ERA member companies. There's a small additional charge, but certainly much, much less than if you were to ever, for example, try to get this through me directly or through any other types of sources, this type of information. So once you've joined, you just go to ERA SearchLink.ai. You've got to log in, of course. ERA SearchLink.ai. Click the Access ERA SearchLink.ai link. This works in mobile, by the way, as well. But it obviously works a little bit, it doesn't work better, it just looks a little bit better on a desktop. So these are the 5 core sections: sales prospecting, contact, new search, additional resources, and ERA GPT. Let me quickly spend a little bit of time in each area. We'll end with ERA GPT, which is the new feature in here that's pretty darn cool. So under sales prospecting, key contact search, that's the feature we're in now. So under each pull-down menu, you'll have main features across the top here. Electronics decision makers, pretty easy. And I'm going to use 3M as my example today, not because I like them better than any other company. It's just that I can spell it easily. So 3M, and then you can choose a seniority level. We'll keep it pretty broad right now. 3M, key decision makers. And then across the top, you can click on the various titles that are relevant to us in the electronics industry. So mechanical engineers, product engineers, operations, marketing. Now, as you see, we're getting a lot of results. By the way, this number is never correct. Even in Google, it's never correct. Here's what I know. I know that's more than 1, it's fewer than 14,000. So this is, but if it is a lot, this is where we'd want to go in and use our seniority level. So we'll say directors. And so, for example, directors of other engineering, Now we'll get this once in a while. It's not that you're a bad person or anything, or that it thinks you're a robot. It's that the system, SearchLink.ai by name, is powered by AI. And so, for example, you could run all of these searches on your own. It would just take you hours, because in that 1 second, I just ran 600 simultaneous LinkedIn searches. So it knows to look for different types of engineers, knows to look for the word director, or even if if I chose VP, this is a good one where you can see the AI in action. You'll have vice president, SVP, we have SVP, we have VP. So the system's smart enough to know that SVP, AVP, EVP, VP, and vice president all mean the same thing. Now, once you're on a person, or once you're on a result page, you can click. It will open up the person's profile, and we will show you. Now, this gentleman happens to be retired, so probably a bad example, but I'll show you how to find contact information in just a little bit. So that's electronics decision makers. Search by seniority. Just as the name says, type in a company name or an industry or a function. So we'll choose engineering. 3M, search by seniority. This will find us C-level executives, presidents of engineering. They don't have any VPs of engineering, directors, managers, and other leaders. Search by function, kind of the flip side. Type in the company name. Again, you can choose a seniority level. Now, this will include all the popular functions at a company. So maybe you want to access legal. And we're going to get this once in a while. Legal or logistics or customer support or R&D. So it'll help you find the right people at a company. And then power search just allows you to search for lots of different ways. So I could go in and again, type in 3M. I'm a University of Minnesota graduate. And I want to find people that have something to do with marketing, who work at 3M, who are also fellow University of Minnesota graduates. Here we go. So that's a quick overview of the key contact search area. The next section is company research. As the name says, you can go in, type in a city, type in a state. I'll choose Dallas. Now we've got a pull-down menu here of the popular types of companies we at ERA might want to work with. So for example, I might choose Internet of Things. I can choose an employee size, a revenue size, a NAICS code. And you can click here to pull up a NAICS code. That's a government classification for an industry. And then a classified business search would be women-owned businesses, minority-owned businesses. So for example, Internet of Things, 51 to 200 employees in Dallas. We can pull up the names of those companies. We'll take this company name, XM Pro. And I'm going to be a little redundant here, but this is how you would use the system. XM Pro, key contact search. We can get those key decision makers at the company. We go back to company research. And I'll just show you what a classified business search is. So for example, if I take electronics manufacturing, classified business search, this would be veteran-owned, women-owned, minority-owned, which could be important for some of you who might be, say, subcontractors for a government contract that require you to work with any of those kinds of organizations. Company details, I'll use the company we just researched, XM Pro. Search company details. If you click on the details tab, it looks at a lot of different databases, ZoomInfo, Apollo. What we're looking for here is the number of employees. So approximately 3.8 million in revenue, approximately 41 employees. Get some basic information about the organization prior to going on a sales call. Is this information accurate? Probably not, but it's close. And in sales, what we're looking for is information to ask a better question. So you don't walk in and say, hey, how big are you guys? You walk in with some information, show that you've done your homework. And company website search. This allows us to go in, type in a domain, so 3m.com, and I can look for a word. I can look for the word vendor. And this will not only look at their marketing website, but it will also look for those hidden pages on a company website. So there are 722 pages where the word vendor is on a 3m.com website. But I can also say, what are the PDF files? I doubt there'll be spreadsheets. So there are 3 spreadsheets with the word vendor on there, PowerPoint presentations, and any uploads they might have. So that is key contacts and triggers and prep. This allows us to go in recent hires and promotions. We know that if we can reach out to a person who's been hired or promoted in the past 1 to 4 months, they're much more likely to take our call. They're more open to a creative idea. So we can click here and find out any electrical engineers. So here are some folks in operations. Emma here has been hired in the past 1 to 4 months, or 1 month here. Again, much more likely to be open to a conversation with a new vendor. Disruption events, I can type in an industry, it's probably best. Manufacturing. I can select a trigger event. So we might say acquisitions. So let's look for companies. Maysteel Industries acquires Precision Manufacturing. Again, when a company is acquired, they may be looking for new creative ideas, new vendors, good time to reach out for them. You're not going to use any of these, really, the sales triggers events that often, but I recommend every Friday, 4 to 4:30, you're kind of brain dead anyhow. Go see if you can find some disruption events or recent hires or promotions that you might want to call. So, and you don't have to limit it to company names. So for example, I could say California, and be helpful if I spelled things correctly. Thank goodness for the squiggly red line. Or, yeah. And seniority level, but I can say on the industry, I might say battery industry. And see if there's any recent hires or promotions in the battery industry. Electrical engineers, here's 12 of them. We might want to reach out to these folks. RFPs is something that's new that I recently added. So you can go in here, type in a company name or a product name. I'll just type in electronics. And recent RFPs. It'll put in recent RFPs, so find some of those. Patent search and government contracts, pretty self-explanatory. Contact information, determine an email address. So we can type in a company name, XM Pro. And what we're looking for here is their email naming format. So how does a company do their emails? In this example, it's probably, if we're looking for Joe Smith, it's probably cho.smith@xmpro.com. If you have a domain name, so xmpro.com, you can also find, if the first doesn't work, it usually does, you can also find that naming convention this way. And once you have an email address, this doesn't work very often, but when it does, it can be pretty cool because it will often show, does a person have a, oh gosh, I don't even want to do this right now, but it will show the person's email address online, sometimes with a phone number. Now here's something you're all going to want to install, and that's the Contact Info plugin. It's about a 2-minute video. Watch the video on how to install it. Click Install Lead Leaper. And what this does is it gives everybody at your company, not just your company, but everybody at your company with access to SearchLink, 200 free email credits per month. What does that mean? Watch. Let's go back into Key Contact Search. In the company name, XM Pro. We'll choose an executive here. So let's go under owner founder, nothing there, executive. So we have Andre, based in Dallas. And when you're on somebody's LinkedIn profile, once you've installed the Lead Leaper plugin, it's this little frog right here, this little icon. It's a browser extension. When I click on the icon, I have to be on someone's LinkedIn page. Click on the frog. About 80% of the time, this will work. It will go out and find the person's contact information. And of course, when I'm giving a demo, it's going to be slow or not work. But you're going to pull up their contact information, email address, phone number. And by the way, once you've done this, you can click the View Selected List button, and everyone I've ever clicked on will show up here. And you can even download this. So it's not really a list building tool. SearchLink.ai is not really a list building tool, but it will help you find the contact information, and then you can save them in a list for you. So that's the Lead Leaper plug-on. Everybody at your company is going to want to make sure they have that. News search, general news. I always start with Google News, but extended news, this is where we put in the name of a company. So is there anything going on at their company that we might want to talk to them about today? Extended news would include general news. So sometimes Google News will miss a lot of trade journal articles, local newspaper articles, press releases, blog posts. Again, some of these are going to be older. So I'll get to sort motorcycles here. My camera's kind of in the way, so I'm taking a guess here. Blog posts, social media posts, videos, and podcasts. They're sorted by relevance by default, but you can also sort by date. So if you want to sort by date, you can go to do that as well. Under news search, electronic news, this is really going to search only the top publications in the electronics industry. So I can type in battery. Actually, I'm going to move it over here where the word in the headline, find me the word battery in the headline. And we're only going to get results from the top electronics publications that we care about. Electro Pages, the manufacturers, IMPO, EE Times, Assembly Mag, so on and so on. Under additional resources, online documents. This allows you to search for online documents. So go find me the phrase EV batteries. We can find the phrase EV batteries within PDF files, Word documents, presentations, spreadsheets. You can type in a company name, do the same thing. So XM Pro in PDF files, spreadsheets, text files, and so on. Under additional resources, we have a recruiting engine. Stay pretty broad here, but I can go in here and say sales, find me somebody with sales and electronics experience in Dallas or Houston or San Antonio. And this is using AI to find different words or combinations of words on someone's profiles, social media profiles, that lead us to believe that they'd be open to an opportunity. So that person, we have seeking a career, so looking for new opportunities. If you reached out to that individual, more than likely they take your call. And then follow-up GPT. So one of the strategies I teach in my presentations is you got to stay in touch with people in ways that are relevant to them. We're not always selling. So we can go in here, we're going to go find an article. Again, we'll use our same company, Exit Pro, see if there's any latest news on these folks. So nothing there. Maybe we'll get, we want to even be general. So we'll use EV battery, get some electronic news. So let's just grab this. I'm going to grab that website URL, the web address for the article, go back to craft a follow-up message. Let's say I wanted to send this to Walter. So thought you'd enjoy, this is going to go to Walter at ERA from Sam. Spell my name correctly. Paste in the article web address. I'll just do a kind of a control, just copy all this content. Paste that here. I can do a longer message or a shorter message. I'll do a longer message. This is going to go out and read the article and write a relevant note to Walter. So this is obviously using generative AI. What I do then is I'll copy this, I'll go in, paste it in my Outlook, and I'll modify some words around, maybe modify the PS. So this is an example of a longer article. Or if I wanted to do a shorter one could be for email or even LinkedIn, have it generate that message. So this is a really important tool because it allows you to stay in touch with your prospects in ways that they might care about. Now, let me show you something in here. It doesn't always have to go to Walter. I could also do a mail merge. So I could say first name, company name. And now I can craft an email to go out to all of my prospects. Just showing them I want to stay in touch with my prospects and my existing customers in ways that they care about. Again, I might go in and change the PS. Okay, so those are the core features. Now I want to show you the one we'll spend the most time on this, ERA GPT. Consider this your own custom version of, say, ChatGPT. It's trained on all of my content, so 12 books, thousands of articles, tens of thousands of articles, thousands of hours of keynote presentations and workouts and breakouts and workshops. And it's trained on best practices related to the electronics industry. So Walter and team, the ERA team, has sent me content that I've used to train the LLM, the large language model. So this is a custom LLM I've developed where you can go in and ask it a question. It can be about using SearchLink.ai. So I could type in, how do I find an engineer? And you're actually going to have a conversation with the system. It'll ask you some questions. Is this a specific company or industry? Yes, at 3M. So it actually tells you exactly what you need to do in SearchLink. So it's kind of your access to me 24/7, 365. You can always, any of you access me 24/7, 365. I might not respond at 3 in the morning, but you can go in here and use it and it will tell you how to use the system. By the way, if you ever get a bad answer, it's not exactly what you're looking for, you can reach out to me and I can further train the system. Now, what's also cool is I can go in here and ask other types of questions. So for example, help me craft a compensation plan for my sales team. Again, I'll ask some questions. In this example, I guess I knew the answer, so I just went right to it. But again, this is generative, so you can have a conversation with me. I would like a plan with a tiered bonus and commission structure. Any ideas? Inspire my team to sell more. I'm making this up. Obviously, you all would do a better job with me than I would, because you're an expert in this. So that is the overall demo. Let's open it up to questions. Walter, I don't know if you want to read them to me or what would be best. Or if people want to ask me, if you can.
I think what we could do is we have some questions that people have emailed me. So let me read those to you, and then we get those done. We can open it up. So the question is, this just came in. How does the ERA AI tool compare to other tools in the market, both in capabilities and in cost? How does it compare? What else is out there?
Oh gosh, there's so many tools that are out there. There's ZoomInfo, which is great for list building. We'll often have email addresses and phone numbers. Obviously, LinkedIn Sales Navigator is really good. I'd say what makes this different is it's incredibly affordable, and you're supporting the association, so kind of a double win there. And it's targeted just for you. So in LinkedIn, you can go search, obviously in Sales Navigator, you can go search for engineers, but it's not going to find all of the engineers that you care about, just, you know, on versus like on the results tab where we've done kind of the sorting for you. You can use ChatGPT, of course, any of you can go in and use ChatGPT, but this version of a GPT has been trained on best practices content for the electronics industry. So it's kind of everything in here is customized for you. Would this be a replacement to Zoom Info or Sales Navigator? No, I don't think so. I think at the price we're talking about, because everybody at your company gets access to it, I think it's very complementary to any other tool out there.
Good, thank you. Another question came in. Can I trust the veracity of the results of SearchLink, and how do I verify what it's telling them is the truth?
Well, sure. Again, it's just searching the open internet. So when you search for people, it's going to pull up their LinkedIn profile, and if they're telling the truth, hopefully they tell the truth. We're looking at news sources, so hopefully the news source is accurate. I do limit, so it's not searching the entire open internet. I've actually programmed it to search for objective and credible sources, but does that mean 100% of the time it's correct? No. And in the GPT system, I've trained it to be really smart and accurate. Is it always? No. Like any generative system, it's going to make up some information once in a while. So yeah, anytime it has a quote or a statistic, you know, and I'm talking about the ERA GPT here, you might want to go double check that. Just go into Google, paste in the quote, paste in the statistic, and see if it's accurate. But I have trained the system to hopefully be objective, credible. The information sources it looks at are hand chosen, for lack of a better term. So hopefully it's going to give us the best information that's out there.
Next question that came in is, can the person I click on their profile on LinkedIn, can they see the fact that I've looked at their profile?
Yes, just like anytime you're searching on LinkedIn, they can. You can go into your LinkedIn settings and turn that off. So I don't know exactly where it is in the LinkedIn settings. You can Google it, say, how do you turn off so people can't see that I've looked at their LinkedIn profile? Just type that into Google and it will tell you. It might even tell you right here. I think I've talked about that in my training in the past. But what you can go in and turn that off. Now, by turning that off, you can't see if other people are looking at you, but maybe for the hour or two that you want to do some research, turn it off, and then it won't show that you're looking at them. I'm actually going to ask our system here, how do I turn off LinkedIn? How do I turn off someone setting here by someone knows? I know I've talked about this in the past. I'm not sure it's going to show up on here. Yeah, I'm not going to do it, but go through all of that. But yeah, I can train. I'll make sure that it's in here. But yeah, just go into Google and it'll tell you how to do it.
Okay. Do we have any other questions in the chat room, Aaron or Claire?
Yes, Walter, there is a question from Aparna.
Here you go.
Sam, which version of ChatGPT is the ERA GPT?
Well, it's a custom version. So I leverage a number of different LLMs, is what it's called. So GPT stands for Generative Pre-training Transformer. Generative, meaning it generates an answer on its own. It's going to be completely different. If Walter searches, if I search, if Claire searches, it's going to be a different answer, hence the word generative. Pre-training, and that's one of the keys, is this has only been trained on the data sources I've told it to train itself on. My content, my material, ERA material, and then some open web material. So it's not trained on the internet. It's trained on what I've told it to be trained on. And then the T, the transformer, is what makes the magic happen. So this is a custom transformer. And I tested on all the various different models. So this one currently is running on ChatGPT 4.0, the latest preview version. So it's the latest version of ChatGPT 4. By the way, meaning that normally if you would access ChatGPT 4, you'd have to pay $20 a month, which I frankly recommend that you do anyhow. But this gives you access to ChatGPT 4 without having to pay that. But know that at any time I might switch the LLM, the transformer, if you will, underneath it. I'm always evaluating them. So it'll either be OpenAI's the latest version of ChatGPT, but Google Gemini, I might switch it to that because that's getting really good. Microsoft Copilot's getting really good. There's Claude.ai, which is really, really good. Perplexity. Those are the ones I'm usually evaluating against. But right now, I'm finding the best answers, the most accurate answers, and the answers that frankly sound more human using OpenAI's ChatGPT 4. But like I said, I evaluate that and might change it in the future.
So upon it follows up, is this like ChatGPT 4 Turbo?
It is, yeah. I mean, that's what it's running right now. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
The next question came in, a text to me. How do I subscribe to this tool? Maybe Claire, what's the cost? What do I get for it, et cetera? Can you take that, Claire?
Sure. Sam, if you'll just
Yeah.
assist me here because you're sharing. If you, from our website, ERA.org, you're going to hover over in the top white menu, ERA SearchLink.ai, and then click on the resources, the second one. And then right at the top there, you can just, that's our subscription form. So you do have to be an ERA member company to have access to SearchLink. And then it's a $400 subscription fee per year. So that's just for one company, not per person. And then your annual subscription allows you to have access for up to 20 employees at a time. So if you fill out this form and you pay, you'll get a confirmation email. And then myself and Karen Durkaz will, be able to assist you in setting up all your employees that you want to have access.
And just to put
And how
that-
many subscribers do we have today at ERA? Last I checked, it was over 100.
Yeah, I think it's getting close to about 110 now. So, and if you have any questions, I'll put my email in the chat if you have any questions about, your particular company subscribing.
Yeah, and just so you know, I mean, I had a version of this under my, for lack of a better term, SearchLink store. Before this, it's no longer available, but when it was there, it was $497 per year per person. So if you had 20 subscribers, that was close to $10,000. This is $400 annually for your company, up to 20 people. So again, getting back to the question earlier on how does this compare to other sources, data sources. So for example, LinkedIn Sales Navigator, which this is not. LinkedIn Sales Navigator does some really cool things. But just to put that in perspective, that's $99 a month per person. LinkedIn Premium, so where you don't get the additional benefits like saving searches and in-mails, which you might get with Navigator, is $79 a person. Again, I would recommend both, but I just want to, I'm just giving you those prices so you understand the value that ERA is providing you.
Sam, one of the questions just came in, and I know you've already covered it. If you could just maybe touch on again, the feature of allowing SearchLink to read an article and then help craft an email. That's a real solid business application. Could you just go over that again? I know this is being recorded, but just go over that again for the audience, please.
So that'll be located under additional resources, and we go to follow up GPT. The first thing you have to do is find the article. So you can find an article, and I'll go in and you can type in a keyword or name in the headline of the article or a topic in the article body. I usually default to key name or in the headline of the article. I'll just type in 3M is probably a bad one because there'll be a lot on their stock price. Probably same on Raytheon. But Raytheon, get the latest news. And none of these look great, but I'll just show you, okay. So again, there's just an article, accept necessary cookies. I copy the web address of the article, Control C. I go back into the system, click on craft a follow-up message. So let's say that this is going to be a company congratulations. This is going to go to Sally at Raytheon. Sally's my contact there from Sam. I'm going to paste this in. I'll go grab content from the article. So again, just kind of, I just grab all of it. It doesn't matter. Highlight, Control C, paste it in. And I'll choose a longer article, a longer message. Click generate. And as you'll see, now it's written not just a thought you'd enjoy, but the system knows, because I told it, that Sally actually works at the company. And these are the different types of message. So competitor information, interesting research, industry information. It's kind of a catch-all, thought you'd enjoy. This is if the company was featured in the news. This is company congratulations, they won an award, something like that. Personal congratulations. So let's say Sally won an award. I would have chosen personal congratulations.
That's pretty powerful. Sam, a question just came in. How do I get started? I take out a subscription and I got it. And how do I get started? What do you know, I don't want to look stupid. I'm afraid of it. How do I get started?
Well, it's really what your goals are. So if you're looking to just ask some questions, you know, ERA GPT is a great place to start. Otherwise, my experience is most of the people who use my various engines primarily stay in the key contact search and the company research. So maybe search for companies and then go find, once you found the company you want to contact, a key contact search, go find the individuals at that company. And then you can even use ERA GPT to craft a message. So just, it really is kind of a one-stop shop. So I could go in here, help me craft, probably better, write an email to a cold prospect at Raytheon. Her name is Sally, and she's in charge of electrical engineering. Driving to Raytheon, and how does it relate to electrical engineering? Oh, I'm just going to make stuff up, Walter, unless you have you tell me how to answer it.
I make up stuff all the time, Sam.
So what product or service? Oh, let's just say I'm our widget 3000 electrical component decreases costs. Made in the USA and lasts longer than others. Obviously, you're just going to use this as a guideline, but hopefully, you know, using the tool gets you, using the ERA GPT gets you 80% there.
Sam, a question just came in. Aaron, do you have the chat? I can't see the chat here.
I do have the chat. Well, first, there's a question from Jordan. Oh, here, now we're getting some questions from folks. So first of all, Sam, actually, someone wanted you to run through really quickly how to use the lead leaper again. Could you do just another quick
course.
tutorial on how to use that? Thank you.
You got it. So under contact information, we go to contact info plugin. You'll want to watch this 2-minute video. It'll tell you how to install it. It's basically how to install a browser extension. And the key thing is once it's installed, you need to, I'm using Edge right here. You need to go to this puzzle piece in the browser, and then you need to just turn it on. So notice when I click the little pin here, how our frog right here turns on and off. It will always be off by default. You'll want to go turn it on. Again, that's described in the short little video. Then click the install lead leaper. Now you'll be asked to create a new account because it's not integrated per se with SearchLink. It's with a separate system. Again, it's just your email address and a password. Make something up. It doesn't really matter. Just make sure you save it so you can always access your lists later on. Once it's installed, it will be this little frog that's sitting in your browser extension. Then when we're on key contact search, Raytheon, seniority level directors, we'll run a search. Let's say product engineers. If I want to research Mark Nichols, he's retired, so probably don't want to reach out to him. So this is Ernie. Once I'm on somebody's LinkedIn page, then I go up to the frog, the little icon. I just click it. It will open up. It will search for email addresses on the page, and it will also search its huge database of email addresses to see if it can find a match. In this example, it did. So here's Ernie. This is probably a company headquarters phone number. But here's Ernie's email. And then now that I've collected it, I can view my selected list, and Ernie will be in here. So I can click on, there he is right there. And I can export all of these if I wanted. I could search for them once in the system. So again, it's not particularly a list building tool, but that's, I kind of use it for that. So if you're looking for tens of thousands of names on a list, you probably want to use a list building tool. But this is much more for laser prospecting. I want to find who's the director of systems engineering at Raytheon, easily found him using the system. I'm going to find his email address, and now I can use even the ChatGPT or the ERA GPT to help me craft an email, or use follow-up GPT if he's already a prospect and I want to stay in touch with Ernie.
Thanks. Erin, any other questions that came into you?
Yes, there's a question that came in the chat from Jordan. Jordan, would you like to unmute yourself and ask your questions?
Yeah, absolutely. I just had a quick question on privacy and confidentiality. I know that some AI services, such as ChatGPT 4.0, do collect your data, and I was curious, since this was built off that, is there any added privacy, or is that something that users need to be cautious of?
I guess I'm using what's called an API into all of the different LLMs, the large language models. So it could be ChatGPT, Gemini, Google's Gemini, Microsoft Copilot, Claude, Perplexity. There's a few others as well. Supposedly the information stays private. I can't see it. I can tell you that I can't see it. Now I can see the question you asked, and that's important because if you get a bad answer, I want you to email me. Hey, this was a bad answer. Here would be the correct one. So I do have the ability to look at your question and the answers. I'm not going to unless you tell me to, and go in and correct it. And like I said, that is important because if you do get a bad answer, I do want to go in and correct it. So let me know. That's usually going to be related to using this, SearchLink versus something else, writing an email. But anytime I can go look at it. Now, I think your question also directly relates to privacy as it relates to, does this add you any extra protection using ChatGPT? Supposedly, when you're using an API, all of these LLMs, large language models, are telling us developers that they're not using it as training data. Do I know that to be true? No, I do not. If it were my company, well, I mean, I use these all the time. Would I put private customer information into the ChatGPT? No, I wouldn't. I guess it's kind of, I've always said, anything you're searching for, anything you put in an email, anything you put in a spreadsheet, you control the copyright, for lack of a better term, of that information. But the second you click a button, whether that's send, whether that's search, whether that's, create something for me in ERA GPT, anytime you click a button, you lose all distribution rights, meaning I don't know where it goes. I do know that it doesn't stay on my computer. It goes somewhere and it goes to the cloud, and then that's redirected to somebody else's computer or somebody else's server. I just always assume that information is stored somewhere else. So I own what I write, but I don't own the distribution rights once I click a button.
Makes sense. Thank you.
That answer your question, Jordan? I think you said yes, okay. So a question came in, Sam. How do I stay current on AI? There's so much out there. What can I do as an average citizen of the industry? How do I stay current?
Yeah, a couple of answers. One, you can't on your own. There's too many changes going too fast. So what I do recommend is that every company form I hate to say a committee, but a committee, 3 or 4 dorks like me that are into this stuff, and let them do it as part of their job. Like, your job is to spend an hour a day researching AI, generative AI, and what's best for our company, or an hour a week, or whatever number you're willing to do, but give permission to your team to take work hours to research this, with the expectation that anytime they find something that, spur of the moment, wow, this could really create efficiencies within our company, they come report it to you. Or maybe once a quarter, give a presentation to the entire team. Here's what's going on, here's what we've learned. Or if there's a video that they stumble upon, or an article that they stumble upon, share it with the rest of the team. So don't try to do it on your own. There's just too much information. Now, if you're a solopreneur like me, learn not to sleep. That's always helpful. Learn to take a lot of energy drinks and coffee, so you can stay on top of this. But there are a number of thought leaders, influencers. You can certainly follow me on social media. Anytime I find something interesting, I put it out there. But certainly just go into Google and type in, AI chat rooms. I use Reddit a lot. So Reddit is a kind of a community of people. And so I subscribe to various groups. I think that's what they're called, or communities within Reddit that are AI and generative AI related. And they do a really good job of keeping me up to date on the latest articles, the latest trends, the latest technologies. So that's where I get a lot of my information.
I know that Sam sent that message. He spoke at our conference in February and made the statement that what he just made, that every company should have a single point of contact to be in charge of AI, to look at AI. Reps are all getting into digital marketing. A lot of the forward-thinking reps are using AI to do digital marketing, just like you saw in this tool or other tools. You can get tremendous productivity using AI to do your digital marketing. Manufacturers and distributors, some of them are bigger, having directors or vice president level at the corporate level that are in charge of their AI strategy on how to use it to drive business. So it's here, and we encourage people to, skate where the puck is going, and don't get left behind because we're all afraid of it. We're afraid of making a mistake. We're afraid of looking foolish or stupid. We can guide you. Sam can guide you, and this tool is a good way to get started.
Yeah, and I want to say something, Walter. It's
please,
important to
Sam.
remember is there's a difference between AI and generative AI. So key contact search, this is an AI powered search tool. I've programmed it with rules. So if I type in 3M, I've programmed it with rules that to go out and find these people. It's a program system. If it's finding the wrong people, I can tell you why. It's using AI to search for all the synonyms to make these decisions of who goes where on the fly, but it's rules-based. Generative AI is completely different. Generative AI it's creating something that never existed before. So a good way to say that. Walter, if you went in, if there's 30 people on the webinar today, 50 people on the webinar, if you went into electronic decision makers, type in 3M, choose vice president, the system is going to use rules-based AI. Every single one of us is going to get the same number of results and the same kind of results. If we go into ERA ChatGPT and ask it to write an email like we did earlier, it's going to, or for example, if I asked it to do the compensation structure, this question here, it's going to generate a similar answer, but it's not going to be exact. So all 50 of us, if we type in the exact same question, all 50 of us are going to get a slightly different answer because it's generative in nature. Now, I programmed the system to not be too crazy on something like this, on a commission structure, but on an email, if we ask it to write an email, all 50 of us are going to get different emails because it's generative, GPT, generative in nature.
Thank you. Aaron and Claire, any other questions on the chat room or any questions that have come into you?
No.
Sam, so anybody on the call that wants to unmute and ask a question? Going once. Sam, any final thoughts to guide us?
Yeah, just to know that I'm continually looking at new ways to provide value, new features to add. So hopefully we'll have this kind of a webinar on a frequent basis as I add new features. So thank you, everybody. And again, last thing, as you're using the tool, if something's not working, if you're not getting the results you expect, try using ERA GPT. It'll tell you what to do. And again, in ERA GPT or with anything, if you're getting a bad answer, please let me know. What are you looking for? What was the question you asked? And then, especially on the ERA GPT, you provide me, you tell me if you have a better answer. Like I wouldn't have answered it that way, or that's not really what it means in our industry, because I can go in and continually train the system to be smarter and better. But I can only do that based on your feedback.
Well, I know that it'll be 2 years in October that we went to Sam and said, listen, this AI thing seems like it's the real thing. Can you guide us? Can you help us? And he then went to work and developed this SearchLink tool exclusively for ERA. So we'd like to think that we're offering a great value to our members. Sure. And we count on Sam to continue to guide us and maybe keep us ahead of the curve. So Sam, I appreciate
thank you
your partnership, your friendship, and your willingness to help our members.
Of course, thank you.
Aaron, I'll turn it back over to you.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Walter. And thank you, Sam, for an insightful presentation about SearchLink.ai. As a reminder, everyone, this session was recorded. A link to the recording will be posted on the ERA website within 48 hours at era.org under the ERA Live section on the Online Tools tab. You're encouraged to rewatch the session or share it with your team. And mark your calendars. Our next ERA Live session is scheduled for Wednesday, May 15th. That session will feature guest speakers Adam Glazer and Adam Maxwell, attorneys at SFBBG, the go-to law firm for sales reps nationwide and longtime ERA benefit provider. Glazer and Maxwell will be presenting a new updated rep agreement template that will be made available on the ERA website. Thanks, everyone, and have a great week.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Sam.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.